Black people need to own our own businesses, which will provide an economic base, teach our youth to become self-sufficient, learn how to maximize our political affiliations, and fight for criminal justice reform. You just tuned in to Black Power Presents with your host, Antonio Lipscomb. Come on, let's talk.
With Black Power Presents, I'm in the studio waiting for our lovely guest to come in. Now I don't see you in the back, so I don't see you in our on the link here.
Okay. It says you're backstage. Only the host can see you. You want to maybe try sending me another link?
I can do that. See if we can get you going. Right now we're on.
I did. Okay.
We're on Facebook right now, and we're on YouTube right now as you speak.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, hello, everybody.
And see, and I actually I sent it to your .gov.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just sent it again.
All right.
And if this doesn't work, we got the phone number 317-239-1310 is what you will call in on, and that will help us get through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just got it here, and
Okay.
Ready? You're supposed to be on now.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm lining my guests up, and we'll be on in the. You can play. You can play that commercial. Can you play the intro for the show?
The intro now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see here.
And you got to give me the pronunciation of your name again.
Say it again.
Yes, sir. It is
Say it again.
like honey with the fall
Hey,
being
if you want to hear yourself,
Hanifa,
that's it.
Khalifa. Say it one more time. I'm sorry,
It's all
Senator.
right. It's all right. Hanifa Khalik.
One more time.
Okay.
Hanifa
There you go. Khalik.
Khalik. Hanifa Khalik. Got it.
Only one side of those headphones work.
That's cool. I'm ready for your
And I'm
playback.
going to click on this link here.
Okay.
All right. It says you're entering the broadcast studio here.
Yep. Hanifa Khalik. All right, y'all know y'all on the back show, and I see I got. I gotta come off the phone now. Okay. Here we go.
Right, wonderful.
All right, there you are. Good. How you doing?
Good. Doing very well today. And you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You in the backdrop with my show. I'm getting ready to go right on here.
Okay.
As well, so that my Facebook family can hear it.
All right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing excellent.
Okay.
I'm out of the snow and in a nice.
All right, we're on live right now. I'm your host, Antonio Lipscomb. Black Power Presents. I'm hoping everybody can hear us over this great station, 1310 FM or 92.7 FM, excuse me, and 1310 AM is the radio station that we're on right now. And if you want to be a part of this wonderful broadcast, feel free to call 317-239-1310. That's 317-239-1310. I'm trying to get all my little gadgets together, and I already got my wonderful guest that's already lined up and ready to go. And so we just got some extraordinary things we're going to discuss. As we know that, I can't endorse anyone on our show, and I got to be careful with politics and the discussion of politics. But at the same time, I know that we eventually will get every clearance we need to be gotten through to have a full discussion. But I'm so excited to have my guest, and I think I got Tammy that's trying to come in as well. So we'll just play everything by ear. But how would you like to introduce yourself, and then just kind of give a background as to who you are and what you currently do right now.
Yes, wonderful. Well, first of all, Antonio, thank you so much for having me on the show today. For those listening, I am Hanifa Khalid, and I'm originally from Chicago, moved to Northwest Indiana here in the year 2000, been a proud Hoosier for 20 plus years, and I am running for United States Senate here in this next election cycle. So I graduated from Lake Central High School in St. John, Indiana, went on to attend IUPUI in Indianapolis, graduated in education and worked a little bit in the Indianapolis Public School District. From there, went on to law school, and I'm now running the Civil Rights Agency here in Northwest Indiana. I'm also doing a little bit of professoring and running my own social service on the side. So I'm happy to be here and happy to be here with you and with your audience.
Well, certainly it's a delight to see someone like yourself that's been a public servant for so many years, serving in the community. And I did read your bio. I did read the fact that you were from Illinois. I did read the fact that you moved over to Indiana. Of course, what was very encouraging to me is when I read about you going back to school to get your law degree. Do you want to kind of talk about that?
Yeah, so I taught in Indianapolis Public Schools first, but prior to that, I was a community volunteer with AmeriCorps. And when I first started doing my volunteering with AmeriCorps, I was really confused as to what I wanted to take up and study while in college. And it was actually during my volunteering with AmeriCorps, I was a summer camp counselor. And so I got experience with kids putting together after school programs, before school programs with kids. And I just loved being, with them and creating activities for them. And so I decided I wanted to go into teaching. And I did that for about 5 years. I taught second grade, third grade, fourth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade. My final teaching position was eighth grade science, which I loved to do. Every Friday we had experiments. But I had a lifelong goal of becoming a lawyer. I've always been inspired by people like Martin Luther King, individuals who are out and fighting for civil rights. And I knew that I was going into administrative law when I was accepted into law school. And so I studied it very deeply. And as soon as I graduated, I knew that I wanted to go into civil rights and protecting individuals who felt they had been discriminated against. And so that's what I have the pleasure of waking up every morning and doing, is fighting for people who believe, that maybe with respect to housing or employment, that they've been discriminated against in some way. And so we put the employer and the landlord or housing housing providers to the test. And we don't, that's what we do. That's our charge. That's the civil rights law that I have the pleasure of enforcing every day.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's very encouraging to know and understand. One of the problems we have had living here in Indiana is the racism and discrimination. Just seem like it's been interwoven in Indianapolis, in the communities. And if you don't get involved, you probably won't be able to see it as clear. But the minute it seems as though you try to start making a difference and you start trying to change people's lives, then you start really seeing racism and discrimination like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I think that there's this inherited way that racism has been practiced here in Indianapolis, to the point that people that lived here all their life is so converted, it's under a convert type of situation, to where it's kind of hard to even understand it, and let alone know that you're actually a victim of it. I mean, you feel the oppression on a day-to-day basis, but sometimes it's just hard to be, explained. And so with your work as a civil rights attorney, how do we go about trying to make Indianapolis better? That's my slogan for the year. I would like to make Indiana better. That's my slogan. How can we make Indiana better?
Well, Antonio, being on the front lines with so many other human relations directors and human rights directors throughout the state of Indiana, we know all too well that discrimination is alive and well, although we want to kind of go back into a place of comfortability and complacency. Those of us who are on the front lines know that it is far from gone, okay? Because we see it, we experience it every day. Even our own governor has just instituted our very first diversity and inclusion officer because it's a well-known issue here and problem, and people know that there's something strange going on here in the state of Indiana, and it has been. So my vision of a better Indiana is going to be a coming together of the minds on a different level than what has been required before. Tolerance is no longer is no longer the word. We must ascribe to acceptance of one another and learning and diving into one another's cultures. And that doesn't mean just sitting back and watching television and depending on the internet to tell us about a group of people. As we know, the internet, television, and the media are the last resources that we should go to try to understand one another. I think that one good step the state of Indiana did, the governor did, was to put a diversity and inclusion officer, but we have to come together as human relations commissions and human rights commissions also and be ready to enforce the law and hold people accountable. Whether it's a mistake or an accident, it makes no difference. If there's been an offense, it has to be addressed, and the individuals responsible have to be held accountable. And unfortunately, there's no other way to root out this type of evil. We just simply have to hold people accountable for the things that they do. For for example, what happened on our Capitol, January the 6th. I am glad to see that our FBI are going after these individuals who flooded our Capitol with this type of insurrection and evil. And they're going after them and holding them accountable one by one. And that's what we have to do. But we also have to hold each other accountable in our own circles, right? Our own families and our friends, when we are sitting down at the dinner table, spending time with them in the holidays, and we hear some remarks and racist remarks and things like that come through. We have to address these things with love, but also with that type of tough love. So, from your home to what's happening in government to day-to-day interactions, we have to create a higher level of accountability when it comes to rooting out this evil of racism and prejudice.
Well, that sounds very logical. Accountability, I think, is just extremely important. And unfortunately, it seems as though because African American people are so divided, for some reason, it just seems as though we find it very hard to unite over anything other than maybe something I would think that probably would be not as significant as it relates to us as individuals. It seems as though we'll jump on everybody else's bandwagon, but when we start speaking of Black people owning their own businesses, I just give an example. Bill Crawford said this years ago. He said, we can't find one African-American who has 100 employees who owns a 10-story building in the 12th largest city of America. And I was talking to you offline about this. In Indianapolis, we have the second most dangerous neighborhood, not in Indiana, but the second most dangerous neighborhood, which is in walking distance from my house in America. And I want to say this again, so y'all not acting like y'all not hearing me in Radio Land and Facebook and YouTube. we have in the city of Indianapolis the second and the seventh most dangerous neighborhood, not only not just in Indiana, in America. Violent crimes, homicides, it's been a big problem. And I know, with your current situation right now, you're kind of looking after Gary with what you do on a daily basis. But of course, people are wondering here in Indianapolis, with that being the case, what are some of the things you think you would want to try to look at and accomplish with what's going on here in Indianapolis?
Well, I think, thank you, Antonio, for the question. I think one of the biggest things is, people, first of all, we need to stop for a minute and we need to think about where does all this crime come from? Why
Right.
is it happening? I think all too often we forget about that. We forget to look back at the individuals who are committing the crime. So many oftentimes we want to throw them right in jail. We don't want to listen to anything or review their background or dive into what their experiences in life may have been. But ultimately, what you're going to find is that individuals who resort to crime have gone through a series of, it could be rejection for finding employment, it could be rejection for finding good employment. So one of the things on my platform that I will be working on is providing livable wages to individuals and not just giving individuals jobs, but better jobs with better pay. So, if we say we don't want people to go into crime, then we have to have a reason for them to make better choices as well.
Mhm.
So I'm not giving them excuses, but I'm just saying in society, you haven't set up or if you haven't provided or made provision for a way for people to make it and survive, then you cannot be entirely upset with them for resorting to crime. Now, with respect to the crime and how we can try to prevent that is we're going to work from both ends. We're going to work
Mhm.
with our employers and we're going to try to give people the things and the resources that they need in order to survive. But we're also going to hold criminals accountable for the crimes that they commit. Now, whether I don't believe in just putting people in prison. I believe in providing them with resources so they can be better or re-enter society with some sort of resources to help them acquire a job, acquire a home. We don't we 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 don't we don't want individuals who are coming out of our prisons and are coming from their punishment into another punishment when they try to enter society and they're trying to get a job or trying to get a place to live. And so we've got to work from both ends. I also think that our police need multicultural education training and cultural sensitivity training, okay?
Right.
Because some of the individuals that they're saying are committing crimes or might be in the act of committing a crime may not be at all. It may
Right.
just be them, on this hypersensitive, hyper alertness, which is causing them to put more individuals in jail or in handcuffs and taking them to jail. So
Right.
community policing has to come in, and that means understanding who's in the neighborhood, what's going on in the neighborhood, and not being so quick to pull out a gun or put someone in handcuffs as well.
Right. So those are all reasonable statements. I think that those are things that we can do. I'm definitely for community policing. Now, I got a question for you. I have Larry that's on the line. He's a little controversial. Are you taking questions?
Yes.
He don't hold no punches, so don't think that's coming from me or our show. But he's gonna say what is on his mind. Is that okay for me to allow him to have a question for you?
Well, Antonio, one of the things that I'm going to be stressing throughout this entire campaign is the responsibility of elected officials as well as those who are running to be an elected official is stressing the importance of public discourse. whether the individual is in agreement with you or not. That is one of the most archaic forms of dialogue that we have in our country. And I do not have any problem with individuals coming on and asking questions or engaging in dialogue.
All right. Well, we have Larry. Larry with a comment or a question. Welcome, Larry. You on Black Power Presents. Go ahead with your question. You can't hear him? Hold on for a minute, Larry. This is supposed to work. We need to get this to work. We cannot hear Larry. All right, so we want to make sure this is going on the air. Okay, I can hear you, but I don't know if the call of the this is supposed to go. This is supposed to go through to on the YouTube as well, but we're not picking that up. We're not picking it up on the YouTube.
Question if you'd like to.
Okay, you want to hear this? Let me try to see if I can. Let me see if. Go ahead. Let's try it like this. Can you go ahead and talk? Can you hear? Can you hear? Oh man. Now it's off the mic as well, off here too. Can't hear nothing. All right, so hold on for just a minute. We're just trying to get this technical problem.
No problem.
We're just trying to work out the difficulties, Larry. I can't even hear anything now. No, you're fine, man. I can't hear anything right now, even through my headphones. Yes, ma'am.
Question or
It'd be too long for Larry to try to type it. Yeah, that'd be too long. So I tell you what, let's try this. Let's try her calling in, because I just can't have you. Okay, so it'll be 239-1310. 239-1310 is the number to call in. I just want you to call in because this information is too important for you to not be able to be heard. And so I'm gonna.
1310.
It's 239-1310. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'm gonna log off here and see if I can't pick this up through Facebook.
All right, it's giving me a busy signal,
Okay.
and that's 219, correct?
It's 239-1310.
239-1310.
No, I mean, what's the area code is 219, correct?
No, 317. 317.